recently had the pleasure of joining Vince from Twisted Koi on one of his Sunday Live YouTube videos, and we were speaking about my indoor setup here where I house my koi over the winter months, and telling him I was going to make some changes to the filtration system. And for those of you who are not familiar with the setup I have here in the house, I'll just give you a quick overview of it. So this is the pond itself. From here to the other end is 10 feet. From there over to the wall on that side is 8 feet, so 10 by 8. It's 4 foot deep, although the water's not quite up to that depth. Combined with the capacity of the filtration system here, there is approximately 2,000 gallons of water. That's 2,000 US gallons. On this side, I have my two sturgeon, a short nose sturgeon and a sterlet. And you can just kind of see the short nose come by here in a moment. The divider is in here because the koi do eat the food that the sturgeon get. They get sinking food, and the koi are always after that food. So that's why I separate it when they're in. In the summer months, the koi are in, or sorry, the sturgeon are in here, the koi are outdoors. Some of the koi you can just kind of see on the far side there. And at the moment I have the filters turned off and the water turned off because it's quite loud down here. If you are trying to listen to me while I'm doing my video, it would be very difficult. So that's why I've turned it off for the moment. So what I was mentioning to Vince is I'm going to modify my filtration on this side, the barrels. I have 3 barrels set up, all 55 gallon. The one at the very far end over here is a static barrel or static bed barrel in there with K1 and K3 media mixed together. So the water flows from a central pump in the pond here up into that barrel. From there it flows into the next one. You can just kind of see which is here, black barrel. That is a moving bed media, again K1, K3 in there. And that then flows into the one here on the end, which is also K1 and K3 as a moving bed. That goes down then through this 4-inch pipe and returns to the pond. And as I mentioned, everything is turned off at the moment. The other line, the blue line, you can just kind of see coming along here. That one feeds my converted swimming pool filter, and you would have seen me doing that in an earlier video about changes I made. That has the K plus sinking media in there, and that, when it's running, then goes through this line here, follows all the way along into what I call my tower shower there, and then again there are 2 returns that go down into the pond as well. Now what I'm going to be doing with the barrel setup I have here, the first barrel and the far end there, I'm going to take the media out of there and move most of it into the second barrel. What I'm going to replace it with are filter brushes. Now I will show that in another segment of the video. I have some what they call Vortex filter brushes that I had shipped over from the UK a few years back. Designed to put in a larger Vortex unit like you might find a standalone or on a multi-base system. And then this second barrel here, which is the moving bed that I mentioned, that will become a static bed, and then this one on the end will become or will remain a moving bed filter, maybe with a bit more media put in there. So I'm going to give that a try to see how that works. All 3 of them are connected. They each have their own drain system connected that comes into my sump barrel here. They all empty into this, and so that's what I'm going to do, and I will show you how I'm doing that in another piece of the video. And then this is the converted swimming pool filter, as I mentioned a moment ago. When I am doing a cleaning on this, I hook up the blower component of my shop vac or wet dry vac onto the pipe here. The air is then going through this valve. It's a 3-way valve. Goes down into the filter here, thoroughly agitates the media to dislodge any debris that might be in there. And then when I turn the air off, turn the pond pump back on, the water will flow through the media, and all the waste and dirty water will come into the sump barrel here. And as I said, this is the 3-way valve. Right now it's in the position whereby this piece where the air goes is shut off and the water is flowing directly through it. And what I will be doing, and I will show you that momentarily, in order to make this work, the valve on the pool filter here goes to the backwash position, and then this one goes, the three-way valve turns here. So what now this has done is, this is shut off. So the air will be coming through here into the filter to agitate the media, but it will not allow for any air to go back through into the pumps or into the pond itself, because I don't want that to happen and probably freak the fish right out. Once that's done, then I will reposition this to flow, turn the pump back on to flush out the dirty water, as I said. But I just want to give you a bit of a look here. You can see a bit of water that's already in the barrel. Just kind of reaching down, you can kind of see it there, see how clear it is. So that's a little bit of leftover water from a water change I had done the other day. And as I said, you can see the clarity on there. Once I get the backwash going on this filter, I will let you see the color of the water that's going to be coming into the barrel. So if you can bear with me for just a few moments here, I'm going to hook up the blower and I will show you that once that's on. And then I will get it in operation and give you an idea of how that goes as well. So just bear with me for a moment if you will, and I'll be right back. Okay, the blower has now been connected to the air component here to go through that valve, as I mentioned, to agitate the media in the filter. It's a wet dry vac that I have that has a blower function on it. So that allows a very good air pressure when it's blowing to force the media in here to agitate and get it cleaned very thoroughly. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I will turn this on. It will be quite noisy, so I'm not going to, say very much, if anything, until I turn it off again. You will see in the barrel here, I've just pumped a little bit of that water out. Once this is going, you'll see some of the water that's in there being removed from the filter, and then you'll see the water clarity in there change from what it is now to kind of a grayish brown or brown as the debris from the media is flushed out. So I'm going to turn that on. I'll let you see that, and I'll probably pause it for a moment. What I will do as well is once the blower is on, I'll try and I'll let you see the filter here, because this actually does shake as the media is being agitated by the blower, and hopefully you'll be able to see that when I move the camera down. So I'm going to turn the blower on now, and I will let you see how that operates. Now I'm going to continue to agitate the media with the blower in a moment, but if you look closely now, you can see the change in the water clarity, and that's just the water that has been blowing through the media as the backwash feature is in functioning here with the blower. So I'm going to put it back on. I always let it go for 3 or 4 minutes to give it a really good agitation of the media. While that's doing that, I won't sort of video the entire 5 minutes or so, but I will let you see the filter vibrate, and hopefully you will be able to see that. At which point I'll turn the camera off, and then I will get things switched on the pump to get the water flowing and continue the clean cycle. To give you an idea of how the filter vibrated, I did put the camera down right on top of the filter, and you hopefully will have seen the kind of vibration of the camera itself as it was going through the air blowing cleaning cycle of the filter. And I say that does continue, so I know the media is being agitated quite significantly. Now, in order to finish the cleaning cycle, as I've turned the air off, as you can would understand now without the noise, I'm going to put the valve here back to the position whereby the water will now flow from the pump through here, through the valve, and down into the filter. From there, through the hose, back into the sump barrel here. So I'm just going to put the camera down for a second so I can take this hose off, get it out of the way, and then I will show you the water coming out down into the sump barrel. Okay, the hose has been taken off. You can just see it there kind of lying on the floor. What you may have noticed, or will notice now, is I have a blanking cap or an end cap here on the air pipe that I put in. The valve does work pretty well, but I'm not 100% convinced. I mean, it certainly was not an extremely expensive valve, so I don't know whether or not any water potentially may get forced through there even during normal operation and end up on the floor or something down in the house and losing water to the pond. So I put this on so that if any water does get in, it's going to get caught in this pipe. And the valve on here is still in the backwash position. I'm going to turn the pump on now, and I'll bring the camera back over, and you'll be able to see in the sump barrel here the water that's coming out of it. So I'll be with you in just a few moments here. Okay, the pump is back on. Now it does take a moment or so for the filter to kind of fill up again. Lift that up, and you can see here, hopefully you can see here the color of the water that is coming out of the filter. It doesn't take long for it to clear, to show that everything has been thoroughly cleaned. You can see it's changing already. But I will let that run for a little bit to make sure the filter is completely clean, and then as a result of that, and now you can see the water a little better here, the color of it. That noise you're hearing is my sump pump, which pumps the water from the barrel here into waste in the basement, and then from there it's outside through the sewer system. So I'm going to let that run for just a little bit. It does help to clean the media, and it also drops the water down a bit in the pond here. Alright, a few moments ago in the video I mentioned that I was going to be making some changes to my existing filtration system here for the indoor pond. What I'm in the process of doing now, and this was the static component, it's in the mode to get clean, similar to what you would do for an Easy Pod. I'm just going to agitate this very, very well. I'll dump it, I'll do it again, just to clean the media. The plan is to move some of the media from this barrel here into this one. This will now become a static bed, and that one on the far end will become the moving bed. And then this one is going to have filter brushes in it. So as I said, it's in the cleaning mode at the moment. I'm going to let that run for a few more minutes. What I have done is I've isolated the barrel here by turning off this valve. So all of the water from the pump is now flowing through here, down through the converted pool filter into my tower shower at the far end. So as I said, I'm going to let this one run, then I'll fill it up, do it again, scoop media out into this one, and turn that air off in there. And I will show you what I'm going to be using in that barrel. So if you just bear with me for a moment here. I did mention that I had some Vortex filter brushes that I'd used previously in the large Vortex that I had on the pond. I put one along the edge of the the pond here, so you can see just how large it is. And if you keep coming along here, all the way to the end, and if you look down there, hopefully you can see that now. So that is the 8-foot mark right here. So this is actually just a little bit over 8 feet long, and I have 3 of these. So they are going to be coiled up in the filter, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And then I also have some of these brushes here are the standard kind of filter brush that you would see. This one is, I believe, about a foot long. I had it in a previous box filter that I no longer use. I got rid of the filter, but I kept the brushes and some of the media. And what I'm going to do is, when I take the media out of the barrel at the far end, I have a piece of milk crate here that has been cut down. As you can see, the bottom's been cut off. That's going to go on the bottom of the barrel, and then on top of that will be 2 pieces of this egg crate that will be positioned similar to that. This is going to allow for the inlet pipe to go down still to the bottom to get the water coming through and circulating. This will then support the brushes as they get coiled and put into the barrel. What I will do is just use a couple of cable ties to secure these onto the what will be my support piece, just so that the brushes don't kind of dislodge things when I'm moving them around for cleaning. So hopefully that's going to make a difference with regard to, just some added filtration for the pond. If it doesn't work out the way I want, not a big deal. As I said, I'm not going to dispose of any of the media. Some of what's in that one barrel, the one at the far end over here, will be going into the second barrel. The balance of the media will then be going into a bag and just put into storage until it's required at a later time. And as you can see, the fish are hanging in there. They're doing really well. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. I'm glad they're indoors because it's quite cold outside here today. And you can see the water now coming out of the tower into where the sturgeon, that's my short nose, just cruising around. These have not been fed yet today. I'm going to do that in a little while once I finish kind of monkeying around with the filters here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause things there at the moment. Once I have done the 2 cleaning cycles on that filter, I will put the brushes in there. And what I will do, I know I did show you the color of the water coming out of the converted swimming pool filter here. I'll show you what comes out of that barrel. It's actually doing a very good job at cleaning. So I will be dumping it. It goes into this sump barrel as well, and again gets pumped to waste. So I will let you see the color of the water as I do that first cleaning. So I'm going to pause the camera now, let that boil for a little bit longer there, and then I will get back to you in just a few moments to let you see just how dirty that water is coming out through that filter. Alright, this has been bubbling now for about somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down from my stool here. I will take you over to the sump barrel and let you see the color of the water that comes out of there. So you can just bear with me as I kind of squeeze by everything here. And this is, again, the sump barrel. When I open that valve, the water is going to come through and come out here into that, and then my sump pump will move it to waste. So let me just pull that valve handle open, so bear with me for a second. Right, and you can see the color of the water. I'm going to try to get a bit in the jar here. And as you can see that, against the lighter background there, that is what is coming there too. So that's the color of the water that is coming through the filter. As I said, the filter has been working very, very well and does a great job. It's super easy to clean. So I'm hoping with the brushes going in, that'll take out any kind of additional waste prior to getting into the static bed. Static will do the bulk of the polishing, and then into the moving bed, which is this barrel here. So I'm going to let this go. It just takes a few moments for it to empty the barrel. And then I will fill it back up, let it go again for a few more minutes while I'm getting this put together with the zip ties I had mentioned. And then I will start removing the media. And I will show you once the barrel is empty and with the platform in place prior to putting in the brushes. So I will be back again just in a few moments. Alright, as you can see, I have removed the K1 and K3 that was in the barrel here. I now have the mesh that I mentioned, the egg crate there on the bottom. It is in place. I'm going to put the brushes in now. You will see there's the odd little bit of K1 in there. I'm not worried about that because as the water fills up, that K1 will flow through this pipe here, which goes into what will now be my static bed. So it's just going to be added in there anyway, so there's not any kind of an issue doing it that way. And what I did as well, I'll just show you quickly here, is this was the pipe screen, if you will, that was fitted to that pipe to prevent the K1 from flowing into the other filter when it was in operation full of K1. So what I'm going to do, as I said, I will put the brushes in. I've got two of them here beside me now, just there. I'm going to put them in and see how they fit, maybe add the third one if there's room for it, and I will let you see that once it's in place. I will be back in a few moments again. I have now put all three of the Vortex brushes into the filter. Those are the ones you see running around the outside here. And then the other five brushes that I had are kind of stuck down in the middle to fill the void. So that will give a fairly decent supply of brush surface area to catch debris that's coming through. As you can see, there is still a reasonable amount of space in here. Quite another few inches. I could get some more brushes or something similar in there if I choose to do that. Maybe a couple of pads of some type in there, metallomatting, something like that, just to add a little bit more filtration prior to going into what will now be the static bed, which is this one here. So I'm going to turn this valve back on, so I'm just going to hang in and bear with me for a moment, and that will fill this one up. So you can hear the water going in there. You will see it coming up in a few moments. It doesn't take very long for it to fill. Let me get a bit more light down there to see what's happening. You can hear that water running in. Okay, that will be coming up through here very quickly. And then we'll go through the pipe there into what is now the static bed. So the water is moving up here very nicely. And we'll fill that up pretty quickly. So it's still rising in there. I know it's a little difficult to see. You can just kind of see it coming up along the edge here. See it coming up through the brushes now as well. And in the next few moments it will reach the level where it's going to go through the pipe into the other filter. And from a cleaning standpoint, I said, because this one does have a drain valve on it, as do the other ones, that being the valve right there, when it's time to clean the brushes, it's just a matter of letting this fill with water just below what would be the inlet or the outlet there for the other filter. Just kind of jostle them around in here to loosen any debris, and then that will go out to drain to waste. So I'm not sure if you can kind of see there, the water's almost up to the pipe, but it'll be going through there in a moment, which will get the filters running again. And I will just keep an eye on things for the next few days and see if it's doing its job. Okay, so there you go. The water's now flowing into the other filter. You see the odd piece of K1 that's going to kind of float in there, and it's not a big deal because the filter that's next to it is full of K1 anyway, so this is just going to get mixed in with that. Okay, so I'm just going to put the camera down now. I'm going to let things run for a little while, then I'll bring it back down and let you see how it's doing. And then I will get the video posted so you can all see what's going on. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, the filter has been running for a little while now. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see too much going on. Again, the lighting is not the best over here by the filters. but it is working well. It's flowing nicely through the pipe, which is right here, into this one, which is now a static bed, and then the moving bed, as I said, is the one on the end. So I'm going to leave things going for now. As I said, they're moving, seem to be doing very well. The few pieces of coldness you can see there have come up and have gone through into the other barrel. You can just kind of see one going there and another one popping in as well. So as I say, if the odd piece comes up, not an issue. It's not going to block or clog anything. So I'm going to let things run, and fingers crossed that next update on the pond down here will be to inform you that the filter system with the brushes has been working well. So I'm just going to step down, so you're going to bear with me again for a second while I squeeze by my little obstacle course here. And again, just to show you, not a lot of space to get between the upper quarantine tank component and the barrels here. So that's why it does take a moment to get through. But as I said, the fish are doing well. I've just given them a feed of some peas. I'm just topping up the water here, because some did get lost, of course, when I was draining the barrel in order to put the brushes in after removing the coldness. Sorry about that. I'm just going to let that continue. It's almost ready now. And on that note, I'm going to call it quits for the video here for today. Hopefully you have found that of interest, at least somewhat. If you have any questions or comments, certainly feel free to leave them below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Your support is always very, very much appreciated. And as I said, feel free to comment or have any questions. And I would appreciate that you do what I always like to end my video with, is keep calm and keep coy. Thank you all, and take care.